there. We are the Gratitude Girls.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. How is everyone? Hi, Laurie.
Hey, Catherine. How are you?
I'm great now that I'm here with you. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful.
I'm jealous that you're in warm weather. I just want you to know it. We have spring, but you have summer, right?
We have summer, yes.
Yeah.
And my AC is not working up to par, so I'm definitely feeling the summer.
Well, you look like a blossoming flower to me, so I'm really happy that we have great weather ahead of us, but I'm really excited to be here with you today. And today I am in my study, so I wanted to change the scenery. We didn't sell our house and move because, you know, we're doing that so often, but I'd like to welcome our audience and let our audience know a little bit about where we're from and I guess what part of the world we're in at this moment. So I'd like to tell our audience that I am in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Laurie, you're at home, correct?
I am at home. You see all my little puppies' dog cages and everything around the room. Anybody that knows me knows I have an animal's heart. So, but yes, I am at home outside of Nashville, Tennessee.
And I love that your animals are there. Actually, when I was thinking about it before, if they sat in quietly and they would just be on the show, I think that would be awesome. Maybe we should invite them next time. Right? Just have an animal-friendly show. But let's talk about something else because we're here. We have an awesome guest tonight. We will definitely talk to our guests. But some of the viewers that are here wondering, all right, Laurie and Rara or Catherine or whatever they want to call me, hopefully only one of those two names. Why are we doing this again? Now, I don't know if you know this, Laurie, but tonight is a really special day. And I would like to start, if I may, about why we're here. May I do that?
Absolutely.
I know it's your dream come true that I start, right? I surprised you in a good way. So today is May 22nd. And I started my gratitude journey challenge on May 22nd, 2012. Now, really in 2009, I started to think about it, but I officially decided that I was going to honor my parents' wedding anniversary. And today would have been their wedding anniversary. So on May 22nd, 2012, I was thinking about it for a second and got lost. I started to send gratitude messages and cards to people all over the world. And that led to something that we both, neither one of us saw coming. Both of us ended up on stage holding an award. And for me, it started as a way to keep the love in the air and for me to honor what I believe was the basis of our family, which was my parents' wedding anniversary. And then maybe you can tell our audience, so what happened? What happened with that? How did we end up on stage with an award? What's that all about?
Yeah, so Catherine and I both are in a direct sales company that offers greeting cards and gifts. And so every year at our international convention, we have a theme. And 2013, gratitude was our theme. And every year, one person wins the big kind of award for the year based on that theme. And so they were going through and our CEO was announcing, and he always says a bunch of nice little things about who he's going to announce and kind of keeps it a secret, building it up and everything. And so I'm there already taking pictures and snapshots and video and stuff like that, so I can send cards to the winner. And he calls Catherine's name and she goes up on stage and accepts the award and looks beautiful and everything, of course. And I'm taking all kinds of pictures of her. And then he says that this year, first time ever and only time I think since, right? They say that there's another person that they're giving the award to. So there was actually two people that year. And he ended up calling my name. And so Catherine and I are actually cross-line in the company. And we met on stage in front of thousands of people. And just in that moment, we both kind of like felt something. We knew that there was something with it, something there. And within like 3 minutes of stepping off the stage, Gratitude Girls was born.
It's such a magical moment. I really do love when you tell that story. I wanted to start with the date because who knew that I could share that about today, being the 22nd. But Laurie, it was the minute that we met. It was listening to your story. It was listening to Cody Bateman. I was going to say our CVO, right? To listening to what Cody had to say. I hardly heard what he said about me, right, until I saw the replays, but I definitely heard what he said about you. And I knew who you were, but I hadn't met you. And when you came up on stage, it was almost like I felt, oh my God, there's Laurie Delk. And that was such a wonderful moment for me. I forgot about the dream that I had to be up there on stage with Cody, because then you were there and I was so excited and I wanted to do something to get closer to you. And you get what you desire. And here I am closer to you. And here we are attracting amazing people, sharing our platform of gratitude, and where people can come and our guests can come and our friends, and our guests become our friends, and our guests become friends of each other. Like, it's amazing what we can do with sharing gratitude. And I am so grateful that both of us were in the audience and that both of us lived the life that we lived up to that point to be chosen from 150, 60, 70,000 referral partners in our company. That was such an amazing honor. And we'll never forget it because we made history and we didn't want that moment to finish or to stop. So we elevated the vibration by continuing. And that's such a great word, because it's just what, it's what happens when you look up, when you sit straight, when you look ahead and you think about the wonderful things that we have to look forward to, like our guest tonight. So I thank you so much for being in my life and for sharing this platform with all of the wonderful people that we have and the ones that we don't know yet, and for those who will be here because of tonight and what we've done. So this is just an amazing thing for me. I'm always excited. And I'm always excited to learn about people. You think you know someone, and then you do, but then you learn more about them. Like our guest tonight. I learned about our guest like 5 minutes before we went on. I learned things that I hadn't learned before. And that was simply because I asked. Sometimes you say hi to somebody and they tell you something and they don't really go into anything else, but I learned some amazing things. And I'd like to introduce Natalie Merritt-Broderick. Natalie, I'd like to say, is a friend of mine. And I'd like to say that because we had a connection, and our connection was very staticky. We were on the phone when we met, and we really couldn't hear each other well. But through that static and through the introduction that we had through Louisa Steele, Louisa introduced us, and there was something there. So I would like to take a minute to introduce Natalie and have Natalie tell you a little bit about how we got together. And then I'd like to get into the real truth about Natalie and her juicy life. So Natalie, welcome to the Gratitude Girls. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me tonight. It's very kind of you guys. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So let's talk about the minute that we met and how that was. How was that for you?
Well, you're absolutely right. It was a static moment because Louisa and I were in a Tim Hortons in Orangeville. And it was through her that, we had the connection of meeting and learning, for me, more about Send Out Cards. And what was cool is to have been meeting someone who's on the executive and being able to learn from yourself and from Louisa as well, because I'm learning things from her. And we just went from there. We started talking. I remember, wanting to ask you some questions about Send Out Cards. And there was one afternoon, I think we spent about an hour chatting on the phone so I could understand more about you and where you had come from and how you got involved with Send Out Cards. And then you started inviting me to some conference calls on Fridays, and it just went from there. We just kept talking and getting connected and getting to know each other.
Right, we did. We really did build a relationship. And it's amazing because we would have just never met. Tell us the town that you live in.
It's Melanchthon, Ontario. And it was a few years ago, the Canada Post decided that we shouldn't be, our previous address was Dundalk, Ontario. But because of Canada Post, then my township is Melanchthon. And so they made it Melanchthon, Ontario. And as much as a lot of people have a hard time pronouncing it, eventually they get used to it. It's just, it's different. It's a different name.
It is Melanchthon, but I think I got it now. And because I'm not from here, I'm from New York, right? That's my excuse for everything. I'm from New York. So therefore, that just must excuse me because I'm a New Yorker. But that's not an excuse. And I certainly want to know how to pronounce that. But what I really find interesting is that we would not have crossed paths, if it weren't for the grace of Louisa, who decided to put us on the phone together, and then to learn so many wonderful things about you. So our audience, they know where you live, they know your name, but so far, that's it. So let me ask you something. What are we surrounded by? You have these beautiful things behind you. It looks like pictures and painting. Can you tell us a little bit about what your surrounding is about?
The surroundings are my writing and my photography. And there's some other things on the walls that have absolutely nothing to do with me as far as me doing them. But my great loves in life are my writing, and I like my photography as well. And it allows me to combine and tell a story by using the photographs I take, or sometimes I don't even need photographs. I just come up with an idea, and from there, sentences are, put together, paragraphs, chapters. It just goes from there. So writing is my first love, and photography, I love that as well. I love doing still lifes. And then when I can, I combine the two. And if I can't, that's totally cool as well.
And you have another talent. I mean, this is awesome. You sent me something in the mail and you handmade a card, but a 3D card. Now, I know you had to cut it and print. Like, tell me about that. Well, that's a great hobby.
I started doing that a long time ago because I appreciate people and sending them cards. And I've gotten into creating my own. So I build the card from scratch and I come up with ideas that I think will fit individuals. Or if there's a theme, for example, Christmas, I design my cards with the photos on the front, the verses that go inside. So I'm my own mini card company, if you will. And I've been doing that for years and I absolutely love it. It doesn't matter how long it takes me to put a card together or how long it takes me to come up with an idea. But once I have it, then I just go with it and create cards and then send them out to the people that I want to show my appreciation for, or because it's Christmas or because it's Easter or it's your birthday. For me, it doesn't matter. I think what's important is that people get something in the mail that's other than bills. I'm a big person on wanting people to be able to open up their mailbox and, wow, I've got a card. It brightens people's day. It makes them see that you care enough about them to take the time to put something together. And I've gotten a lot of compliments on the cards I've built because I've put the time and effort into them. And I love doing it. Yeah.
I love receiving your card. Isn't it fun that you are a mini card business, but yet you have 2 card businesses?
Yeah.
That's really, I mean, this talk about, a match made in the right place at the right time. So you're a writer, you're a photographer, you're an artist, you're a card creator, a card maker, a card sender. You have a very creative left brain. Very active left brain.
Yes, I do.
Okay, this is awesome. When did you discover this about yourself?
Well, the writing's been with me since I was 13 years old. I've been writing pretty much that entire time. As far as the cards went, I don't even think I could tell you when I started doing them. I don't know. I don't have a date on that. But over the last, I'd say 5 years for sure, Like I've been spending time creating, and I sometimes can't get enough of it and go totally overboard in doing it. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I will spend hours getting it just right. And people appreciate that about the cards that they get from me. And what I love about the send out cards is it's now making it easier for me to still create really cool cards, but in a much smaller amount of time. But I kind of got a bit of a tug of war going with myself, because I thought I really like the concept behind send out cards, but I don't want to lose the personal touch that I have with making my own. So I'll be bouncing back and forth a little bit between whether you get a send out card from me or whether I've sat down and built one for you from scratch.
I will take any card that you send me.
Thank you.
I love that. I love the thought, especially as a writer. Whether you create the card, you build it, or you write in it, you're a wordsmith. So it's a piece of art, however you send it to me. Plus, I've noticed your artwork. So now let's talk about your painting, because it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. Tell us about your beautiful paintings.
That's something I've just gotten into recently. I see things, for example, what I'm doing right now, I've seen videos on YouTube where it's taking paints and basically stacking them and then letting them flow on the canvas. And I'll say it, I'm a bit of a squirrel, so I get into different ideas and then I've got to play with them and try them out. But this one's really sort of caught my attention. So I'm spending more time doing it. And what's great is the feedback I'm getting from it. Because I'm a perfectionist, it's very hard for me to look at something and not judge it. And so what I'm doing is I'm showing it to people and I'm not saying anything, because I don't want to skew what their thoughts are on what I've done. But I love color. I'm all over color. So this gives me an opportunity to try something different, to bring more color into my life and to show other people what I can do. So I'm taking all kinds of different avenues and creating art around it.
Are you painting walls or canvas or?
They're canvases I'm doing. I don't like painting walls anymore because I've painted houses before and that's not my thing. I like something that I can work on that allows me to use whatever colors I want to make things bright and bold, or yeah, I'd say just to make things bright and bold. So I like playing with color.
Awesome. Wow. You may get a commission out of this show, because I can think of all kinds of businesses and people that would love to have I saw what you did, so I have an advantage, but those pieces can go anywhere. They're beautiful. They're kind of like some, I don't want to call the technique marble, but there's something about the veins in it that's beautiful. It's really awesome. I should have asked you to have a piece nearby, but we can certainly link people to your website and things later. So Natalie, let me ask you a couple of other things, because I asked you a couple of questions beforehand, and this is really important, especially because Laurie mentioned it. You're an animal person, and you have one dog, right? Okay, tell us a little bit about your pooch.
She is 9 months old. She's a miniature schnauzer. And Chimera, she came into my life because of the fact that when I left corporate Canada, it gave me the opportunity to have a dog around, because my husband's on the road quite a bit and I want company during the day. And what's so awesome about her, even though there are moments in my life when I don't appreciate, is she shows me how to have fun, because she gets me outside. She wants to play. She's got all that puppy energy that I don't have some days. But what I love about her is that she makes me step back and go, you know what? Let's not make life so serious today. Let's have some fun, get out in the fresh air, play with me for a little while, and then you can go back down to your studio and do whatever you want to do. But it's amazing. Even kids are like that. They teach you how to step back and not make life so serious. And I have to step back some days because I let life be too serious. And what I love about her is she doesn't need attention 24/7, but when she's outside, she wants to play. And it's an innocence. And I absolutely love that about her. And I'm a huge animal lover. I love animals to pieces.
Well, it sounds like you have a child in you too, as we all do, who likes to play.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. That goes right along with the fun colors, excuse me, the fun colors that you paint and the things that you create and how you immerse yourself. It sounds like you truly immerse yourself in what you're doing. And when someone or something has your attention, they have your full attention.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let me ask you another question. We you know this is a show about gratitude, obviously, and I'm certain that there are so many things. It's hard to just pick one. But if we were to talk about one thing that you're really grateful for in your life, would you need a minute? And would you be able to answer that?
I can answer that. It's very easy. I'm very grateful for my ability to write, and I'm very grateful for having an English teacher, for a father who taught me the proper way to speak the English language. And I think the biggest thing with my writing is how easy it is for me some days to write. I can be sitting doing absolutely nothing, and all of a sudden an idea will pop into my head, be it a quote, be it a poem, it doesn't matter. So I'm very grateful for being given that gift in my life, to have that ability to sit down and come up with something so quickly. And I think I've astounded some people in my lifetime with that ability to, okay, here, I need this. And, okay, 15 minutes later, there you go. So that to me is a true gift. And I love having that gift. And it's my way of expressing myself. As I mentioned earlier, and you asked me if I was an introvert or an extrovert, and I said I'm an introvert. So writing's been my way of expressing myself and getting my thoughts out, because there are times in my life when I haven't been able to speak in the manner or get my ideas across to people. But in my writing, I can. Like, my writing's clear, it's concise, it's to the point, and people get it. So I'm extremely grateful for that ability, that talent that I have.
And your dad for being the person to teach you, to give you the start in that, correct?
Yes.
Well, I've read some of your writings, and I totally love you do that so well. I feel to ask you to write something, as you do for us for Team Gratitude. It's an honor to be able to read that. I know that Laurie's so patient. Laurie, you must have a question for Natalie. I have like 10 more, but I'll wait. Is there anything that you would like to ask Natalie?
Find my unmute button. Yes. So first thing, I'll make a comment. So you can come down and paint my walls anytime. I love color. And so Catherine knows I have an expedition that I drive, and it's actually being painted hot pink right now. So and my bedroom is hot pink, black and white, and my living room is just white right now, but that's just because I haven't gotten to it yet. So but yeah, I'm definitely not one of those plain type girls. I like brights and colors. So you can come play on my wall anytime you want to. That'd be great. So, and I also want to make a comment about like all your pictures in the background too. It looks so homey, and so comforting and so warm. And that was the first thing. And so I was waiting because I knew Catherine was going to ask you about those and kind of what the meanings were there. But I mean, that was like the first thing that I noticed when you first came on the show, was just how warm and comforting your atmosphere and your ambiance around you was, and so that just makes you so warm and comfy feeling, and it just, I just wanted to make a comment about that, because that shows more of your personality too, you know, of that's just exactly how you are. And of course, then we see that the more we talk to you and hear you speak too. So anyway, so yes, so, you know, Catherine asked you one thing, you know, about gratitude, and I want to kind of go into that too with, like in your business. So, you know, you bring your writing and your painting and your colors into your business. And so tell us something that where in your business you also have that gratitude of what you can be thankful for. You know, tell us a story around that. You know, you said your husband's on the road, and so you get to work from home, which is one thing that I love too, being able to be in my own atmosphere. And so, and same thing with currently I have 2 dogs and 2 cats. So, but I'm an animal lover too. We usually have birds or guinea pigs or bunnies or lots more dogs or lots more cats. You just never know what you're going to find at my house. So, but tell me something else in your business where you're thankful and grateful, besides getting to work from home and getting to work while your husband's away and playing with the puppy dog.
I think one of the biggest things that I've found that's helpful, that I'm grateful for, is the feedback that I've gotten from people on the cards I've created or the artwork I've given to them. It's sometimes very hard for me to believe in myself as an artist, as a writer. And when you get heartfelt feedback from people on what you've built and what you've created, that says a lot about your abilities. And you, as hard as it is some days, you've got to step into that when you're not feeling that you are. And it's taking the feedback and whatnot. My sister, for example, every card I've ever made and sent to her, she's kept, and she absolutely loves them. And it's great to get that feedback, and it's great to think about that on those days when the world isn't spinning the way you want it to. So for me, I'm extremely grateful to everyone who's provided me feedback, because it helps keep me going. And I know, yes, I'm on the right course. Even some days, though, I feel like, really, what are you doing? But people appreciate what you're doing, and they're telling you that. So run with that. And that's hard for some people to do. And I can honestly admit it's hard for me some days. But it is wonderful to hear. And I am grateful that what I am creating is touching other people's lives. So it makes it all worthwhile at the end of the day to go, you know what, you spent 4 hours doing this, or you've sent this to somebody, you know they're going to appreciate it, and they're going to let you know. And that's perfect for me. I love that. And I love that I'm making people happy, and they're getting something and they're going, wow, thank you for that.
Well, Natalie, that is awesome, because you're right. The feedback is the fuel, right? It's the fuel to keep going. So you want to hear what people have to say. You mentioned you left the corporate world. Now, our audience might have caught that, said, wow, Natalie left the corporate world. So before I turn the show over to you, because I want to ask you one question, and then I'm going to turn the show over to you. You were in a corporate environment for how many years? You left, and now you're an entrepreneur. Can you tell us a little bit about that transition? Why did you do that?
I wanted to give my talents a chance. I needed to be able to spend my days doing what I love to do. And being in a corporate world, as much as I had time to do things, I couldn't focus my time the way I wanted to. And I've spent my entire life saying, I want to be a writer. I want to pursue and write books, and I want to do some speaking. And I needed to be able to walk away from the corporate world in order to do that. And I realized, and it took me 50 years to do it, that I finally had to put myself first. I'm very good at putting other people first, and that's great sometimes, but it's not great when it holds you back from doing things that you really want to do and what you're meant to be doing. Like, we were all given gifts, and for me, it was time. I knew I needed to pursue for me, and in pursuing for me, it keeps me happier. And then it'll get me to a point where I can provide and give my family additional things that I may not have been able to do. And I want to be happy, and I want to be doing what I love. And so I said, okay, here's your opportunity. And it was a big decision to make, but it's not one I regret. And now I get to do what I want, and I can go outside and play with my dog whenever I want to. So
whenever your dog wants to.
Well, yes, whenever my dog wants me to go outside. That's right.
I applaud you for taking that leap, and that's awesome. What an inspiration for our audience to hear, in case it's in anybody's mind about might want to do that. They might want to leave their corporate life, or they may not be liking the life that they're in their career. And here you are explaining how you did that, how you took that leap of faith, how you made the decision, and you put one step, you took one step and then the other, one foot in front of the other, and you did it. So how long ago was it that you left the corporate job?
April of 2017 was when I ended my job there. Yeah.
So happy anniversary to you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm so glad you could share that with us. Natalie, you might have a question or two for Laurie or Laurie and I. I'd love to turn the show over to you at this point and give you, drop the mic to you and ask us any question that you'd like.
Okay. Well, I did put some thought into this when you said this was going to be something I got to do. So my question to you two wonderful ladies is, at this point in your life, what is your greatest accomplishment? And I'm sure you've had many, but can you think of one off the top of your head that really, and I know getting the gratitude award from Send Out Cards, I mean, I'm sure that's right there near the top, but is there something else that you can say, yeah, I remember that with fond memories?
Laurie, would you like to go first? No, you want me to go first? Okay, I'll go first. Okay, so I'll just repeat the question, Natalie, to make sure that I'm communicating the answer to the question. You would like to know if there is, and I didn't really grasp it, because one thing that we have done, one thing other than the gratitude award that we have done that we feel is a great accomplishment. Is that the question?
Yes, it is.
Okay, a great accomplishment. Okay, awesome. I'll talk about something personal. And the great accomplishment for me is to have a very well-rounded, reciprocal family life. To have an investment, to have an opportunity to invest time, to have the opportunity to receive the investment back. You talk about living the life and living, your days in the way that you want. Receiving love on a day-to-day basis and being open in heart and mind and body and soul and spirit. Being open to receive that and to give that is my greatest accomplishment.
I should have went first. So
I asked you.
Right? I know, right? So, but what I was thinking, and it does kind of go along with what Catherine said too, but, so the first thing that came to my mind was, one of my I am statements, our goals of what we want to do. And one of mine always from the time my kids were this big was, I am traveling all around the world, speaking all around the world, and living my life on vacation with my entire family. And so I've been speaking at events on stages all over the world for almost 20 years now. But in 2010, my business grew enough to where I was able to take my entire family each time that I went to speak. Not every time, but most times that I went to speak. I've taken my kids since 2010 with me all the time. My husband back then was still working, and so he went on several trips with us. But in 2010 was the first time that that we had a big event and that I was speaking at, and I wanted our whole family to go. And it was one of those of, are we really at that point yet? You know, that tipping point, like it was still really, because it was going to like cost like $5,000 for this 1 week. You know, if we took the whole family between airline trips and all that stuff. But that same week, I had 2 kids' birthdays. And that was one of the things that I swore I would never miss, was one of my children's events. So I worked with my first child only till she was like 4. And then I became an entrepreneur. And so, and that was one of my reasons, was I wanted to be there for every single important step in my children's lives. And so that was, one of my biggest things, I would say, is that I was able to start traveling with my children, with everybody. And I have now, in the last 6 years, I've got 2 best-selling books out and have lots of companies that call me to speak all over the world, as it is even more because of that. And like my youngest, who will be 18 in July, and so he actually just this year started staying home because he's working more and not being mommy's luggage carrier and bodyguard and everything else. But you know, he's already been, we were counting it up, he's been in 27 states and 5 different countries. Because of what I get to do, and I get paid to do it. And I've been able to take him along with me, and my other kids have been too, but he's the youngest. So therefore he's traveled with me the most. So.
That's very cool. Traveling around. That's very cool. I love to travel, and I'd like to do some more of that myself. And at some point I see myself up on a big stage, and I'm looking forward to that day, being up on stage. So that's great. That's great. So do we have time for another question, or where are we at?
Yeah, well, I would love to have you ask another question. I think we have enough time. And just before we do that, you said that you'd like to see yourself up on stage. So just a quick interview. Share with us one big dream that you have.
One big dream. I want to be able to get up on stage and help people realize just how valuable they are. I think because of what I've been through in my own lifetime, and not always appreciating who I am and what I'm capable of, I see that a lot of people in the world don't realize just how valuable they are. And my message is to get out to the world. You're valuable, you're important, and you've got a gift, and to recognize it, and to be willing to put yourself out there. I don't think enough people are, and I'm very passionate about wanting people to look at their dreams and really assess what they can do. And I feel I can do that. When I speak from the heart, and I've touched some people's lives. They've told me that. So I want to be able to do that on a bigger stage. I want people to know how valuable they are, because it's important. I think the world will be a much happier place if more people realize just how valuable they are to everyone around them.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So you've put it out there, and now that too shall come to fruition. If you'd like to ask us another question, we definitely have time for that.
Who's your favorite comedian?
Laurie, would you like to go first?
Oh my goodness. I'm not good with names, and I don't, so I don't know. You'd have to name some names, and then I'd say, oh yeah, I like him.
Well, while you're thinking, I feel the same way. Like I can't think of a name like right this minute. But I remember as a young child, I guess it's going to show my age, right? Well, okay, here, my age is right there. Let me just show you. This is my most recent. Let's see if I can do this backwards. My most recent birthday was right there. I have a banner for it. I remember as a young child watching TV and laughing at some of the shows because they were funny. It's kind of what I watched. Or we would watch variety shows because that was what we did. That's what we watched. So to answer that, I think some of those comedians are no longer with us because they were older then, and that's when I was younger. But the type of comedian that I like is one that really gives me a belly laugh. So I grew up watching Dean Martin. Now, I don't know if he was the comedian, but there was a show, right? So I would watch that era. And certainly there are other comedians who are no longer with us. Robin Williams, I think, is a great comedian. That's someone a little bit more recent. But I think that, and can you believe it, at this exact moment? So Dean Martin and there was the other comedian. They did it. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about, Natalie, right?
I know the name Dean Martin, but I don't know who he was doing.
Yeah, okay. Well, I can't believe that I'm telling you this and I forgot the name. So that just goes to show you. But more recent would be, I think Robin Williams would be someone that I enjoyed as a comedian. So I won't interrupt you if I remember the name, Laurie, and I don't want to Google it right now. But anyway, so hopefully that gave you an answer to the type of comedian that I like.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Well, I never grew up really watching TV, and I still don't do it. And but every once in a while we would watch TV. And I remember when she said Dean Martin, it just I remembered watching the I Love Lucy show with Lucy and Ricardo, and so I thought that was really cute. And then like a couple weeks ago, I was in Gatlinburg and we went to the Hatfield and McCoy dinner show, and that's like a comedy show. And so I love those type of shows. Usually my kids and I, we go on trips a lot of times throughout the year, a lot of times my business trips, and then I'll take some of the kids with me and we'll stay an extra day or two. And then the last week of June, every year we do our family vacation. And during that, we always go to some sort of dinner comedy type show. And so I always go to those. And so usually I like those type of things. And then, I could say my kids are some of my favorite comedians because they always make me laugh.
Oh, that's so sweet. And I remembered his name, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. Yeah, so that type of duet thing. But Laurie, you know what you just said? Your kids are your favorite comedians. Those are the belly laughs, right? Yeah, that's awesome. Natalie, thank you for asking us. Thank you for letting us go down memory lane and remember when we laughed the most, right? I mean, that's just, laughter is such a cure for so many things. It's such a great therapy. If we could laugh every day and make a point of it, but truly laugh, that we would all be happier. I don't like to watch the clock. I really don't. But I know that if our audience is watching, we want to be respectful of the time. We could certainly hang out and continue to share the things that we learned about each other. Now, before we went on, I asked you a couple of things, and your favorite color is purple. So because you talked about painting, do you paint anything in your favorite color, or do you paint anything in any color?
I usually paint anything in any color. Sometimes I think there's specific colors that should go together, so I try and put specific colors together. It doesn't always work out for me. I like bright colors, so your oranges and your pinks and purples, some reds. Yeah, pretty much any color works for me. And shinier thing, I love color. That's the easiest way to put it. I love color. And when I buy things, sometimes if they have them in multiple colors, I'll buy multiple colors because I love color. It brightens my day. Yeah. I'm like Laurie. The more color I have in my life, the better I like it. The only thing that's hard is when you have so many different colors to choose from, it's like, what color? And some days I wish things were just black and white. Truly do, because it's so hard to decide. I love color. I absolutely love color.
Well, Natalie, let me ask you this. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, if they wanted to learn more about your art, about your writing, if they wanted to see some of your artwork, I know you're an awesome photographer and you love to photograph flowers. We didn't even have a chance to touch on that subject. I've seen some beautiful things, and your new website is awesome. It's beautiful. How can our audience get it? Laurie will post all of this on our Gratitude Girls page and on our website, but maybe you can tell the audience who's listening, how could they reach you via the web? And if they wanted to call you directly, what do you recommend?
They can reach out to my website, which is Natalie Broderick, nataliemerrittbroderick.com. And I also have my email, which is icreatetomotivate@gmail.com. I think those are the two easiest ways to get a hold of me. And I'm also on Facebook, and I'm in LinkedIn. So though I've got a variety of different ways that people can get a hold of me if they'd like to.
Okay, awesome. And Natalie, quick question in case anybody's into astrology. What is the month and date of your birthday?
September 2nd.
Okay, awesome.
I'm a Virgo.
There you go. Laurie's a Virgo. Well, we love to know when people's birthdays are because, like you said, we should celebrate one another and celebrate ourselves. Natalie, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. It's been really great getting to know you differently on the show tonight. It really is. There's so many interesting things that we really don't spend enough time on. This is a good lesson. When we're speaking to people, truly, if we listen to what people have to say, we learn so much more about them. And I learned so much about you tonight. And I'm going to look for color every chance I get and apply it to anything that I get to do with you. So you've taught me, you've trained me tonight on how to make you happy and how to make you smile. So I would like to be your biggest cheerleader when it comes to, color and bringing a smile to your face. I thank you so much for being a guest tonight. And I do want to welcome you to come back and check in with us and let our audience know how entrepreneurship is doing for you, how you're doing, how many times you got to go up on stage and share with our audience how your dreams do come true. Will you come back and visit us again?
I'd love to. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Now, Laurie, in case any of our guests are out there thinking they want to be Natalie, they want to be on the show, they want to take that leap of faith and tell us about it. So what will one of our audience members have to do in order to get on the show with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So go visit us on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/gratitudegirls. Send us a message there. That message goes right to Catherine and I both together, and we read them together. Send us your story, what you're grateful for, what you'd like to share with the world, and then give us your contact information, and we will get back with you when we can fit you in our schedule and what works with your schedule to get you on our show.
Awesome. Awesome, Laurie. Thank you so much. It's always, always great to hang out. I just don't want the show to end. So when we cut the show, let's hang out a few more minutes and talk to people. And if anybody has any questions and they send them in, we'll make sure that Natalie sees them and we'll make sure that she answers. So to all of our audience, thank you so much for tuning in and for watching us. Where would we be without you? And where would we be without each other? Our heart goes out to you. And thank you so much. A big hug for everybody who's here with us. Natalie, it's been awesome. Laurie, I love you. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Natalie, for being with us. And be back with us the fourth Tuesday night of every single month, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain, and 6:30 Pacific. Thanks so much. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.